Not bad at all. Right, talking of absolute class acts, it doesn't get any better than our next guest. Dapper Dave, over to you.
A good rule of thumb is that if our next guest is in a TV show, it's going to be great, and you are in luck. Her new darkly comic series, Finding Alice, starts on Sunday at 9 p.m. on ITV, and here to tell us all about it is the antidote to TV snores. It's Keeley Hawes!
All right, Keeley!
Good morning. Thank you. What an introduction.
Well, what a show, by the way. Congratulations. We all watched it last night.
Thank you so much.
It's so
Thank
good.
you.
It's so good, man. Okay,
Brilliant.
so where's it come from? First of all, what's it about? For people who don't know, because nobody knows apart from most who've seen it. So tell them, give them the gist, and then tell us how come it was born.
Well, for people who don't know, Finding Alice is a show about my character Alice, and very, very quickly, very early on in the first episode, her husband Harry falls down the stairs in this brand new smart house that he has built, this labour of love that he has built for her and for them and for their family. But because aesthetically he wants it to look a certain way, he's refused to put banisters in. So he has this tragic accident and falls down the stairs, and it's really what happens from that point onwards. It's the unravelling of what happens after the death of someone close. So yes, and it's the sort of the secrets that Harry was keeping, and where Alice finds herself without him.
All right, and what a cast! I understand you were instrumental in this. You put a few phone calls in yourself. Everybody said yes. Yeah. You've got the cast you wanted. Share that with us.
Our cast is like a roll call of just amazing. Joanna Lumley, Nigel Havers, newcomer Isabella Pappas, who is phenomenal, Rashawn Stone, Gemma Jones, Ken Cranham, Sharon Rooney, Aisha Darker, just an amazing group of incredibly talented and very funny actors, actually. Yeah. There's a lot of humour, I hope you found too, in the show.
No, there's loads.
Because of course, where there's darkness, there's always light. Yeah, and I hope we've managed to capture that.
No, you've nailed it. I said earlier on the show that if the producers of The Office made a murder mystery, this is the show they make, because it's got that real awkwardness about it, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, that's something as well, that we really wanted to capture, because it is so awful and awkward when someone dies. People find it very difficult to know what to say, and so tonally, we really hope to capture that. People say sort of awful things. Everyone wants to say the right thing. And quite often, people will say the wrong thing, and that can be, very funny or just awful. And so, yeah, that's something we were hoping to capture too, because it's something that everybody is familiar with.
Yeah, and it's beautifully and so honestly observed, because, we all do, when sadly there's a passing of someone we know and or love, within our world, we all do default to, often, not everyone, but often, I've definitely been guilty of this, you default to a script of platitudes, and everybody just has the most shallow of conversations about the most profound thing, and it's just ridiculous. And your character's having none of it.
No. She's sort of, quite blunt to a fault, really, Alice. She's often to be found putting her foot in it, and also, her emotionally, everything is very close to the surface. Which is the opposite of, the other thing we might talk about is it's the sin, and my character in that is completely emotionally repressed, but Alice it's all on the surface, really, for Alice.
Yeah, let's just mention the other couple of things you're in at the moment, or you're about to be. You've already done them, but we're about to be gifted. So It's a Sin. I also watched that last night because I just had to, because Graham Norton's been raving about it. I don't know if you know, but Graham Norton's quite good at his job, especially on the radio, brand new on Virgin Radio. Yeah, and you're on his show show tonight, on his telly show tonight, aren't you?
I am. Yes. Yeah, we're filming that later on, and that'll go out tomorrow night. So I'm excited to see Graham as well.
Okay, so briefly, It's a Sin, coming to Channel 4 very soon. Russell T Davies show about some gay young men in the 80s. Some who knew they were, some who begin the series by not realising they are, but very quickly find out. Of course, it was the zenith, or at least the beginning of the zenith of the AIDS epidemic as well, and people weren't quite sure what was going on there. But again, a very, very, very funny, profound, sad and serious programme. It's got very similar ingredients to yours, actually.
It has, it has. These things are, all of these projects, they're all about the big themes in life, life, death. They're very human. It's something that, they're universal. And have affected all of us. Death will affect all of us in some way at some point. But It's a Sin is just. I read the script and I laughed out loud, as I did with Finding Alice. And I sobbed. And I think that's probably a very good thing at this point in time. I think it's the sort of they're the sorts of shows that people will really enjoy watching.
Yeah, and I was saying to Vassos earlier on, last year was, because obviously for my job I read lots of books and watch lots of telly and things like that, and it's a fantastic aspect. I love the fact that I have to do that as part of my job. Last year, the two things that kept coming on the radar for people's writings and musings were imposter syndrome, and the other thing was, cutting down on screen time. And already this year, there's a couple of prevalent narratives coming out. And one is community culture, the laws of the village, and, how we were much more supportive of each other beforehand. Not because it was a choice that we don't make now, but because, we were much closer to bigger volumes of people that were close to us, in times gone by. Most recently, I would imagine, sort of post-World War II, but then hundreds and thousands of years before that in tribes and things like that, and that is a feature that's coming to the fore. But the other one is this thing about parents especially, but parents being individuals and, just grown-up children themselves. This, when somebody breaks down and cries, and we've been taught to say, don't worry, don't cry. No, do worry, cry. And by the way, if you're not sure you finished crying, check and cry a bit more. It's the opposite of what we've been telling ourselves.
Really big cry, everyone. I think it's really, really important. And you're right. What I've learned, especially doing the shows that I have been doing, is that people try not to cry. That is what people do. When you're sort of acting, crying. What I found is that actually people are constantly trying not to. People don't try to cry. Yeah. So it was quite interesting sort of realization. And we should just have a good cry. And actually, any of these shows will help you do that.
Yeah.
So get the tissues ready.
Keeley, let's carry on talking about the ITV show, which is the main reason you're on this morning. 9 p.m. ITV starts this Sunday. Finding Alice. It is something I wouldn't expect. And again, I said this before. It's no slight on ITV, but you wouldn't in the past. Let me caveat that. In the past, you wouldn't expect this show to be on ITV. And well done to them. Well done for you for getting it on ITV, for getting it on a big channel. This kind of show with this kind of vibe. This kind of sort of off-the-wall sensitivity and this sort of this usefully sort of bended perspective on something that maybe we've been looking at through the wrong lens for years and years and years now. Maybe we didn't way back, but for some bizarre reason we decided to bracket it because we're too scared of it, and bringing that back into the fore. But tell us about the house that it's set in, because we all
very brave of ITV. I think you're right. Yeah. Sorry. It's about the house.
No. We all want to know about the house.
Yeah, the house.
We all want to live in the house.
Well, it's a lot of the same team actually who worked on the Durrells, and it is the same setup in that the house we used the actual house, which is this amazing house in Farnham in Surrey, and we shot the exteriors at the house. And then our brilliant production designer, Debbie, recreated the interior of the house inside a studio. So when you see, my character, for example, running towards the house, I'm running towards the house and I go into a sort of false front. That's a secret, a false front at the house, which then turns into me running into the studio, several weeks later. So it's a very clever piece of design work, and Ashley Rowe, our DOP, worked very hard. Everyone worked very hard to make that work, and it's very similar to the Durrells, in that we shot the exteriors in Corfu and then all of the interiors in studio back in London.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's very cleverly done, and it's amazing. It's just that the actual house is very similar to this. There's a big bank of TV screens on the wall, which are used for CCTV and for watching TV, and it's not something I've got a handle on, I have to say.
Yeah, and people might be wondering why we're deferring to talking about this house so much. It's not because I'm scared of any other questions or conversations. It's just that the house, and it's
a character, isn't it? It's very much a character in the show.
Massively. Well, also, it could be responsible for many... Well, it is responsible for many things that happen in the show, including, CCTV footage and your character discovering her daughter crying, thinking she's crying in secret when she's not, because your character can see her via the smart apps and a lot of things going on. But I've got to say, Keeley, when I first saw the house, because who doesn't want to live in a house like that? And I saw the staircase, and I thought, oh, that's a bit dangerous. Little did I know, I was 5 minutes away from having my worst fears because we've all wanted a staircase like that. Now, I tried to build one in a house once. And they said, well, you can, but it won't get signed off by the building regs. No. And I said, why not? Because it's got to have a banister. Quite rightly, too, by the way. So what we did was we put a Perspex wall up and put a banister on it, so it had the same floating effect, but it wasn't quite. But how might they have got it signed off for the show, or does that not matter?
Because Harry is a builder, so he did it himself.
I see.
So that is how he got around that. He simply didn't do it and didn't tell anybody about it, and possibly said, I'll put it in afterwards. So yes, but what we did have was a huge crash mat underneath it for any scenes where they included anybody going up and down it, and a stunt coordinator, just to keep everybody as safe as possible, because it's really high and really quite frightening up there on set. So yeah, but it looks great.
No, it does look great. And again, maybe you and I are putting the cart before the horse here, because people go, stop talking about the house, talk about the show. But the house is the show. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
The house is such a big part of the
Keeley Hawes is stupendously magnificent at everything she does. This text just in from Val. It's actually annoying.
Sorry, Val. Oh, God.
By the way, so say all of us. Have you ever been... No, I was going to say, have you ever been involved in anything that's not very good? But no, it doesn't matter. We all have, I suppose.
Yeah.
You have too. Okay.
Yeah, God, yeah. Yeah, and they're usually, the most fun. And you never know if you're making something bad or good. You can only go into something with the best intentions and for the right reasons. And because the writing ultimately is good, And I'm so lucky that at this point I'm getting to work, with writers like Russell T Davies and Simon Nye and Roger, and because so much of it is about the writing. So it begins with that. So
all over the papers in the last 24 hours, yesterday and again today, probably more today than yesterday, because the news only broke yesterday. It's the op-eds about Sex and the City returning. I mean, you were a child of Sex and the City. Give us your memories. Share your memories of carrying the gang with us, please.
Well, I'm just really, really excited about that. I mean, we all. I love a remake and a reboot, and I'm very excited to see those women, at this new stage in their lives. So yeah, very excited. I don't know, have they started shooting it, or is it wrapped up? Or I don't know which stage it's.
To be honest, I don't know
about the information.
But it's been.
Well, it can't come soon enough, can it? Because we need all the new content we can get.
And I've got to ask you, every time something new comes on our radar now on the laptop at night for research purposes, my wife and I, A, do we like it? B, was it filmed under COVID? And we thought yesterday, some of yours was and some of yours wasn't. Can you tell us, were we right there or not?
You were right, yes. We had 5 weeks left to shoot. on location when we all went into lockdown. You know, the whole country went to lockdown in March. So, and of course, like everybody else, you know, we were all sort of saying, well, you know, see you in a few weeks. And those weeks turned into months and then several months. And so we were then eventually able to go back and finish. So it feels like a huge journey, and one we were all so relieved and thrilled to be able to finish. But you know, with the COVID regulations in place, everyone was kept really safe, and you know, full PPE for the crew all the time, and the cast between takes. And we didn't use perspex screens like I know lots of the soaps and other people are using perspex screens to bring the actors closer, but we were in bubbles and various things. So lots of little tricks that people were learning as they went, you know, to make it work. But yeah, it's tricky. It's a tricky time. But everyone was so pleased to be back at work.
Yeah, of course they were.
You know, there was a really lovely atmosphere, in fact, and everyone was very happy to, you know, to adhere to those rules and regulations.
I'm really excited for you about this show, and I'm really excited for ITV because of what we just talked about before. And Tash and I were saying last night, you know, who wouldn't take Joanna Lumley and Nigel Havers as a couple, socially distanced or not?
You'd take them however you can get them. Yeah. I mean, really.
By the way,
they're a joy.
With the greatest respect to their partners in real life, why aren't they married in real life? They should be. That's good. Yeah, I know.
We made it happen, didn't we? We've done what we could, and we've made that a reality on screen. So
right.
They are a glorious pair.
Well done you. It's a fantastic script. It's quite American. I mean that with the greatest of intentions.
No, that's a great compliment.
Because they're good, aren't they? The old Americans at the screenplay.
They're good. They know what they're doing. Yeah.
We're very good at
and
scripts.
So do we,
they're very good at screenplays, and when the two get together, you know, it's literally like hands across the creative ocean. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So, Keeley, when will we get to have a tequila again together? That's the big question.
Yeah, soon, I hope. I really do. I really, really do. I think we all need a bit of a break, don't we? But for now, on this rainy day, working from home is probably suiting lots of people.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you stay safe. How's Matthew?
He's very good. Yeah, some more good news. They are shooting Succession season 3 again. So that's what he's doing. So for any fans of that show,
what do you mean, any fans?
If there are any fans out there of that show, yes, they are doing their very best to shoot that too. So you know, safely and the script. He won't tell me what happens, but he said that they are better than ever.
Wow. Well, that's saying something as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's such a good show. So exciting. So that'll be something to look forward to too.
God, I love the fact you're flying, aren't you, Keeley? You and your family are flying. It's so cool, babe. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
It's really fantastic. Yeah, no, we're very blessed. Listen, and we remembering to be grateful this time round. Oh my goodness me, does that pay back? Tenfold in dividends. So here we go. Keeley Hawes, 9 p.m. ITV. Just don't miss it on Sunday. You will not regret it. Thank you, Keeley.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye. Finding Alice, ITV, 9 p.m. Sunday. You will literally not regret it. It's so kooky. This is a very kooky show about life and death.